Hello there everyone, this is Brother Birch. In this video I will be introducing your week 3 prove assignment. This assignment is like several others that you'll have this semester where you'll do half this week and half next week. So for lesson 3 you'll only complete half this, and for lesson 4 you'll go ahead and finish it up. So as you're reading through this, make sure to make note of where that break is. Okay. So for this prove assignment it says compute the price of a meal as follows. Ask for the price of child meals and adult meals, the number of children and adults, and the sales tax rate. And then we'll do some nice arithmetic like we would do back in elementary school, just with Python this time, and we'll determine the total price of the meal. Okay. Keep in mind some of these are floating point numbers and some of them are whole numbers. So looking at these, anytime we're dealing with money or prices or percentages, those are always going to be floating point numbers. They will all need to have decimals. The number of children and adults, generally people don't say that they have, 2.5 kids or 1.5 parents or something. So those will be integers. Then complete the following steps. Determine the meal's subtotal before adding sales tax by multiplying the number of children by the price of their meal, and multiplying the number of adults by the price of their meal and adding those two values together, and then display the subtotal. And that is it for week 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to open up VS Code here, and I'm going to open these up side by side. I lied the other day. I said that I wasn't going to make folders in here. Well, I started getting a bunch of files, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make some folders. If you want to do the same thing, you just right-click on the folder name for our class, cse110. You can just say new folder. But we are in lesson 3. I'm going to right click here and say new file, and I'll say lesson3 prove.py. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to close that. I won't need that anymore. Let's see. Oh, sweet. Okay, so right here is an example output of the program, and this is what we have to do for our week 3 milestone. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it over here. And I'm going to use this to kind of start off my print statements and inputs and stuff. So if I select the question mark, I've showed you guys this before, and I hit Control D, or maybe Alt D or Command D, depending on your computer, it'll select the next instance of a string that I have selected. So in this case, a question mark. I'm going to keep on going until I select all of them. And then I'm going to hit Shift End and delete. And then Shift Home, and then double quotes. And now all of that is in a nice string that I can use. I might as well do the same thing here, put that in quotes. And then all of these are going to be inputs. So I just lost all my cursors. I could select a question mark and select them all again, or I can select this whole thing and hit Control-Shift L to put a cursor on the end of each line. And I'll say input, and I'll close my parenthesis there. So we have our inputs, but we also said that these are going to be numbers. So an input like this will give us a string back. We can't do arithmetic with a string. So I'm going to say float and force all of these to be floats. Now, we said that these were going to be integers, so I'll just say int for both of those. Now, the last thing that we have to do to actually use this data is we need to assign these to variable names. So I'll say child meal price, and then I'll copy that and come down here and say adult meal price, and then child count. You guys can name these anything you want. And adult count, and then tax rate. All right, and then one thing that I like to do, I'm not going to do any math today with you guys, but one thing that I like to do is I kind of like to run my programs incrementally. So I would like to test this before I go ahead and proceed with my math. So maybe I'll say subtotal equals, and I'll say 36.00. All right, and then when I go to print this subtotal statement, I can use the format that we talked about. And instead of this 36.6, I'll just say subtotal. Okay, and then I would want to test this. I'd want to test this program. Okay, so I'm going to save that. To test it, my run code button doesn't work here with inputs. It opens up a read-only editor or output console. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click right here and right click on the folder that this file's in, and I'm going to say open an integrated terminal. Now that this terminal's open, I can just say lesson03 prove. I hit tab to complete that. Oops, and I have to say pi to run it. Okay. What is the price of a child's meal? I'll say 5.5, 6.5. There are 3 kids, 4 adults, and 0.06. And the subtotal is 36.0. So, a couple of things that I have to fix. There aren't any spaces on at the ends of the question marks, after the question marks. There isn't 2 zeros right here on the 36.00. We're dealing with money. We want to see pennies, not tenths, okay? And then I have to actually do the math, all right? But once we get to that point, we should be good to go with this week 3 prove milestone. So I hope that this was helpful. If you guys have any questions while working on this, just post on our class channel, and I'll look forward to talking with you all soon. Thanks.